All right. So if you are having any issues with your Adobe Illustrator download or your Cengage textbook, any of that stuff, I definitely recommend going into the course and going through that Start Here checklist. Hold on, I need whiteboard tools. You'll just go under content, look for the big green check mark that says Start Here, and this will take you through the steps that you need with videos and everything to get everything that you need to start. All right, next you're going to go to your Chapter 1, Lessons 1 through 3, Intro to Illustrator assignment. You're going to download the file. I tried to make these bigger. Oh, black. That's a perfect color for highlighting. Thanks. Thanks, Nero. Hold on. So that file is right there. When you click it, it's going to go into your downloads folder on your computer. And then you are going to have to train it to open in Illustrator. And I'm going to show you real quick how you do that. All right. So this is a program that your computer hasn't seen before. So it's going to be a little confused and it's going to go, I don't know what to do with this file. And so you're probably going to double click it like you do most files, and it's going to open in like WordPad or, something ridiculous. So what you always have to do for your very, very first file is right click the Illustrator file, and then you're going to go to Open With, and then you're going to look for Illustrator. Now, this isn't going to work unless you have it downloaded. So, but once you find that, click Always Use this app to open this file type, and OK. And so from there on, all you have to do is double click. And it will open automatically in Illustrator. All right. Another thing that I want you to do when you download your files is change their name and location. So if they're in your download folder, pull them onto your desktop and give it a different name. So there's been a lot of saving issues, people who have gone through this assignment several times and tried to turn it in, and it's blank because of there being a saving issue with it being crossed. Somebody smarter than me could probably explain it, but no worries. Just take my word, change the name, change the location. All right, so when you first open your file, it's going to look like the inside of my brain, a little crazy and arrows everywhere, and then the occasional cat. So what we're doing here, this is just kind of a giving you as much as I can in the file just to help you kind of be comfortable and get started. So a lot of times when we open these files, you're like, I don't know what to do. So things like how to zoom and pan. Pan means you're moving around, zooming obviously is getting closer or further. All right, and so I'll also show you today how to set up your mouse to zoom and pan. That way you're not having to use these buttons because, in my opinion, it can be very annoying. Right now I'm just using my mouse wheel, and if I click my mouse wheel like it's a button, I can do that. And if I just roll the mouse wheel, it will let me zoom in and zoom out. All right. So if you're here, let's go ahead and set that up. What we're going to do is go to the menu option, Edit. We're going to go to Preferences, and we're going to go to General. And this is going to open up your Preferences dialog box, which we are going to be in here a lot, setting things up so that your Illustrator app is working properly with what we're doing in the course. So if you look in the second column, almost all the way down is Zoom with mouse wheel. this check right here. That should be checked on. If that is checked on, you will be able to zoom and pan with the little mouse wheel. All right. Any questions on how to set that up? All right. So I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to move my screen aside and get the, I'm going to do this a couple of times first, but then I'm going to get the textbook on the other side. All right, so you have to go to content. And under this module, there's this textbook link. I can't change the name. I can't move it. I can't even link to it. So sorry, it's a weird name, but that is it. That's the textbook link. And when you open that, it should look probably like this, where it's all closed. You can use little drop downs, and we're going to start in lesson 1, which is explore the workspace. So I'm going to move through this part pretty fast because this is stuff that I repeat all the time, and also it's there for you. All right, so when you start, you have a toolbar on the left. Your toolbar is usually always on the left unless you move it somewhere else. In your toolbar, you have this little, looks like a rewind or fast forward button that you can click to change that panel to be 1 row if you needed more space. I usually keep mine in 2, so if you're following along with me, I would keep it in 2. You've also got what we call panels. These are going to be on your right. So if your workspace does not look like mine, I put right here how to fix that. And then they also are going to have you change your document to the Essentials Classic workspace. So all you're going to do for that is go under Window, Workspace, and then click on Essentials Classic. And it should look pretty identical. Your panels might be collapsed like this, or they may be, you know, open. I think maybe the properties panel will be open. Let me do a reset, actually. Let's go there. Probably like that. All right, y'all with me so far? Okay, so you have it now. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. All right, so tools on the left, panels on the right. At the very top, you should see this is called your control bar, right? Everybody have that? If you don't, again, you can go under Windows and click on Control, and that will bring that up. So when you hear me talking or you're reading like instructions from me and stuff, and I'm saying like go to menu, blah, 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 this is the bar that I'm referring to. So I'm often going to give you instructions by telling you go to menu, object, find this, that sort of thing. Any panel that you're asked to open is going to be under Window. Fortunately for us, they are in alphabetical order. If you don't see all of them, you just need to scroll up or down to find other ones. All right, so let's go through this a little more. In your toolbar, you will have grouped tools. So anytime you see a tool that has a little triangle thing, on the side of it, all you have to do is with your mouse, hold down on that tool, and it will bring up the tools that are underneath. Whichever one that you select, it will then become that one, and you can hold it down again to go back to any other ones. You can also do what they call tear-off toolbars, where when you hold this down, you see these little teeny tiny little arrow right there. If you click that, the toolbar, that particular toolbar will break off and you can use it in this format. So that's any of these that have these little arrows. No. All right, and so then there's guides for what those tools are called. With panels, whenever you open panels, most of the time when you're starting out, they're going to be kind of empty. So like for instance, the stroke panel here just has the weights. There's a lot of things that we do in the stroke panel, but it's not showing us. So always check these little lines right here, these little menus. This is called your panel options menu. And if you click on it, sometimes there's a lot of things in there and sometimes it just says show options. You always want to make sure that you're seeing everything in that panel. Otherwise, you're going to be really looking for stuff. All right, so there you go with that. They go through a whole thing about docking panels and bringing them out into your workspace. I mean, you can customize this as much as you would like. If there's certain panels that you find you're using regularly, you can definitely bring them out, stack them, put them beside each other. It's all kinds of different. I want this. Hold on. I guess it has to be open too. So see when it gets close, it'll be blue. I love it when I demo something that I've done 1,000 times and it doesn't work. It's my favorite. Let me get this one. Okay, well, normally when you hold it right there, it docks it to the end of this. But that is all preference stuff, so no worries. If you want to just use your workspace as the Essentials Classic, go for it. That's what I do. All right, so as you're going through the textbook, you're going to start to run into these big orange numbers. These are steps. These are your actual assignment steps. And Cengage does have some built-in tools for reading these, highlighting these, making notes. So, you can highlight any part of text at any time in Cengage, and it's a lot like the snap and read, and it'll talk to you. You can also make the font bigger if you would like. And you can also print the pages to PDF and use them with Snap and Read if you would like. All right, so as we're going through here, they are getting us to explore things like this double arrow, those type tools that I just showed you. So this is just kind of a review of what we just went over. And then we're going to open the preferences menu again and make sure that those tooltips are showing. So we will go ahead and do that. So under menu edit, preferences, general, look for show rich tooltips and show tooltips and make sure those are checked on. So first column. And what those are going to do is anytime you're hovering over a tool, it's going to give you this little demo here about what that tool does. And you can obviously click learn more and it'll walk you through some steps on how to use it. So that's Every tool up here has that. All right. So then they're going through how to, let me just try to move this over. Okay. How to use your selection tool. So you have your selection tool right here. This is the main tool that you use for selecting, moving, rotating, that sort of thing whenever you're just, kind of navigating through Illustrator. They also go through the keys that you can use to select different tools. So like direct selection tool, P for pen tool, T for type tool. You're more than welcome to use that, but you do not have to. I personally don't do the tab to temporarily move things very often, but it could be helpful in a case like this where you need more space. So what that's going to do is just kind of close everything. And then if you click it again, it'll return back. All right. And so then they go through let's open panels, find panels, group panels, those things that I just showed you. Anytime you are looking for a panel, it is under Window in here. The only ones that I found that need more explanation are the type tools. So character, paragraph, these ones, they're going to be under type instead of the word character or paragraph. But otherwise, everything under Windows should be pretty easy to find. All right. So again, they're just showing you how to move things around in here and set things up. And that is lesson 1, getting to know Illustrator. So moving into lesson 2. I know that this seems like there's not a lot happening as you're going through this. This is definitely an introduction, but this is also setting up your app so that it works properly. So I don't recommend that you skip this next part. So showing us the zoom tool, like I said, hopefully you just set up your mouse with me, so this isn't super important. Hand tool. And then working with rulers, grids, and guides. So while you're in Illustrator, you're definitely going to want to have rulers, grids, and guides set up, which we're going to do. And you're going to want it set up in inches so that it's not some weird unit of measurement that messes all of your assignments up. How to select things and what that looks like. So anytime you select an object in Illustrator, I'll go to this. You have a bounding box. Your bounding box has what we call anchor points. And these anchor points can be used for different things with the selection tool to do what we call global edits. So things like scaling the entire object, making it bigger or smaller, rotating it, what I call willy-nilly rotations. So, when you're just moving things, just to move them. Obviously, there's going to be tools where you can do that in a more exact way. Anytime you do something and you want to not do that anymore, do Control Z, and that's your global undo. All right, so this is one of those things that people use, and it makes everyone think that their Illustrator is now broken. So I am going to use tab, actually. I lied. I said I didn't use it. I'm going to use it. All right. So let me show you what something looks like in outline mode. This is useful for when you're working with shapes that have lots of attributes, meaning they have fills and strokes. And as we go along, they'll have different effects and things like that make them harder to see. So if you go to View, Outline, it simplifies your your shapes so that you can see they have the center points. If you are noticing, I have this like pink little tool here that's giving me some information. That's called a smart guide. I'll show you how to turn those on and off in a minute. But yeah, this is what outline mode looks like. If you get here by accident, you didn't do anything wrong. Just go back to view and do the GPU preview, and it'll take you out of outline mode. All right, so now we're talking about preferences, working with multiple documents. So there's a lot of things that can happen when you're working with multiple documents. You won't really be doing this until chapter 5, but you can arrange them so that they're split screen. So let's say you're working on two things at the same time. You can have two of the same file open, but yeah, you can work on them simultaneously like that if you would like. All right. And they're going through shortcut keys, zoom and pan. Like I said, if you have this set up, you're all good. Then we come down here and it starts talking about rulers. So this is the part where I would recommend, if you have stayed with me the rest of the way, then and you're good to move forward, let's start here. All right. So first thing they want you to do is go to view and then fit all in window. I hate the view menu, guys, just FYI, because it's not in alphabetical order and I can't ever find anything. So I know all the I know all the keyboard shortcuts for this one. So anyhow, fit all in window, there it is. And that's just going to rearrange so that your artboards are kind of in the center. All right, so next, view rulers and then hide and show rulers. So view rulers, show rulers. And so now you can see they're a little tiny, but I do have two rulers going horizontally and vertically. All right, so now it's talking about preferences. If you have rulers that are in some sort of weird increments, we can go in here and change those. So let's go ahead and set that up now, because that's going to be something very annoying for the rest of the time you use Illustrator if you don't set this up. So preferences. I just always open general. You can open individual parts if you want to, but I open general and then I'll use the menu here to navigate through the menu. So I'm going to go to units, and I don't know what you're seeing here, but if it's not inches, change it to inches. So they seem to believe that you're going to be in picas, which, if you can get on camera and show me how big picas are with your finger, that would be excellent. So let me know when you're ready to do that. That's why I changed it to inches. Nobody knows what a pica is. Okay, so once that's done, click OK, and then we'll continue on to the next steps. Let's see. All right, so this next part is talking to us about guides. There are a few different ways of making guides in Illustrator. To view your guides, you'll go to the View menu, Guides, and you can, if you have guides, you'll be able to show and hide them, lock them, clear them, all of those things. So one way to make guides is by using your ruler. So if I just hold down my mouse here and pull a line, I now have a guide here. can also pull a line from the top and have a guide there. So now when I go into view guides, I can lock those, I can hide them, I can show them again. And then if I want to get rid of them, I can do clear. All right. So that's all that they're going through with that one. And now we're talking about grids. So sometimes you're going to want to use grids for different drawings. You'll go under View, Show Grid. Now this is where a lot of people are reading fast. And like I said, the View menu is kind of all over the place. So they might come in here and turn on the perspective grid. And the best part about turning on the perspective grid is it's hard to turn off and it like ruins your whole day. Whoops, show grid. So if you see this, and I put it sometimes in your drawings just to mess with you because I'm fun like that, but if you see this, you can go to View, Perspective Grid, and Hide Grid, or you can do the keyboard shortcut Shift-Control-I. The grid that you probably meant to show is just the regular grid. So show grid. All right. So that's where that is. Okay. Now we are going through, I've already shown you the preferences menu. We've set up our inches. One thing in here is the user interface changes. Now, for these to take effect, you're going to have to restart your program, but I can go ahead and show you because this might make things easy, especially if you're having a hard time seeing. I like everything always to be kind of dark, so I hang out with this type of brightness, but you might want things to be lighter. You might want things to be bigger. You can do all kinds of things to your user interface here, scale it, you know, make it auto collapse. I don't suggest that, but you know, this is where you would do that. You've also got an option in here called file handling. And what this does, reason why Illustrator is such a RAM hog, so if you've noticed when you're running it, it's kind of hard to run other things, is because it creates backup files, which seems like frivolous, but when you lose your work, you're going to be really, really glad it's on. So go ahead and check that. Make sure that you have automatically save recovery data. I change it somewhere usually between 2 and 5 minutes. Really, that depends on how fast you work. I can do a lot in 2 minutes. So yeah, I want to make sure that, you know, I don't get too far into something when Illustrator crashes, because it inevitably will, and then you lose everything. So if Illustrator crashes and you lose your work and you have set this up, come to me. It's very, very easy for me to help you find that. All right, so then I'm just going to, oh yeah, make sure this is on too. Auto activate Adobe fonts, you're gonna want that. Click OK. All right. Do we have any further to go in here? Nope. So finally, let's go to lesson 3. Lesson 3 is where we're actually going to move things around in here and you'll have something to turn in. So they're talking about smart guides. Like I said, these little pink helpful lines, which by the way, you can change the color and all that stuff in the preferences menu if you want to. But these are my smart guides, and you can turn those on and off through View, and then sadly search for the word smart guides. There it is. All right. So you can turn that on and off right there, or use your keyboard shortcut Control U. And that's going to help you with lining things up, centering things, and just, generally working. So, all right, so let's move through this. More about preferences. So resizing objects. When you hold down, so, okay, back to my willy-nilly resizing. If you resize something just with its handles, no keyboard keys, it does not maintain aspect ratio. So if you have something like a circle or something that you want to stay not looking deformed, I wouldn't recommend, doing all this, right? What you should do if you want to keep it, the aspect ratio, is hold down your shift key, and then you can resize and maintain the aspect ratio. All right, and so that's pretty much all that's telling you to do. You can also, in your preferences, set up for holding shift when you rotate so that it does it in like 30-degree increments or 45-degree increments, whatever you would like. So mine's set to 45. So when I'm holding shift, you can see, rotating a circle. That's cute, Miss Grimes. Yeah. All right. Let me rotate this so it's 45. So holding shift allows me to rotate it. What's the opposite of willy-nilly? Give me a word. In a controlled way. A Nilly Wilson. I like it. All right. Another thing that you're going to be doing a lot, which, by the way, is a recent update that I am so happy about, is copying and pasting. Okay. So my whole life, you've had to go up to this edit menu and do copy and paste, right? That's where all those things are. However, like every other normal program, you can right click now. Like I said, this is probably kind of silly to you, but it's brand new in here. So I'm super excited that we can now cut, copy, and paste from our right click menu. So anyhow, that's how you can do that. Another way that we copy things a lot in Illustrator is by doing a drag and drop copy. And so you'll select your object, that little box right there on my cursor that indicates that it's ready to move. If I hold down my Alt key on the keyboard, it becomes a little double arrow. And that means that it's ready to be drop copied. So I can drag and then release my mouse, and now release my key, and I have made a copy. All right. Hiding, grouping, and locking objects. A lot of times when you're working, as we really discovered in our assignment this week, we need to do things like hide, group, and lock our objects. Otherwise, it might mess up your whole document. So you can select your objects, go to the object menu, and you have your group, your lock, and your hide all right there. So yeah, you're going to need those. Know where those are. This way I can do all kinds of stuff over here and whatever, and it's not going to mess with that. So if I want to unlock it, then I just go unlock. Okay. Here we go. More steps. All right. Setting up preferences. What do they want us to set up in here? Keyword increment. No, I think well, I'll show it to you. We've gone through this, but preferences, general. So showing your tooltips, another thing in here too, make sure you have, all of these that they have clicked on, that you have on, and then the ones that I've told you to click on. All right, under guides, grids, preferences, this is what I was telling you. You can change the color of your guides. You can change the style if you wanted them to be lines instead of dots, if you wanted your grids to be a certain increment. So let's say you wanted your grid to be lines to be every 1/4 inch instead of every 1 inch, you can change that, etc. Possibilities are endless. Smart Guides color. If you don't like hot pink, change it. So, and then this is the rotation thing I was showing you. So I have mine set for 90 and 45-degree angles. So that means that when I'm holding my shift key down and I'm rotating, it's not willy-nilly. Now I can't even say my own word, willy-nilly. All right. So now they're going to get you to do some resizing with those bounding boxes and moving that green circle. I have too many, so let me get rid of that. Moving that green circle over so you see that center message pop up there, and that way you know that these are aligned. All right. So copying, duplicating, using the eyedropper tool. All right, so let me move this out of the way. And literally all you're doing with this is you can do a little resize there. Hold down your Alt key and drag it twice. Then you're going to select it. I need my toolbar back. By the way, when you're working on things, notice that if you have this properties panel open, you're getting all kinds of different options over here, and you're getting all kinds of different options up here. So a lot of times when you're looking for a way to do something, it's going to be right there in front of you. So, oh, you can't right click and copy. Oh, I wonder if that's in your settings. I want to look at that if you don't mind. All right. So to use this eyedropper tool, what this does is it copies attributes from other objects. So if you have like a custom color, fill and stroke, something like that, effects that you want one of your objects to look like that's on another object, you can use this to copy it. All right. So then you're going to do the other one and make it pink, not green, pink. Okay. Oh, I erased my copy here. And there you go. That is what your artboard should look like at this point. Okay, so moving on to the next one. First thing I'm going to do is go to the object menu and click show all. Object, show all. Oh my goodness, this was hidden there the whole time. All right, so click object on it. Oh, I shouldn't have deselected them. Hold on, let me do that again so I can group them. Show all, and then it says go to object and group. And so you see what happened when I grouped them, the wow came in front of the bike. All right, and then I'm going to use my selection tool to deselect. So I'm just going to click anywhere that's not on an object to deselect. Then click the pink circle. All right, so I'm clicking the pink circle and you see it's selecting everything again because they're demonstrating that these are a group. All right. Now, if I want to edit things that are inside of a group, all I have to do is use what we call the direct selection tool. So this is another multi-purpose tool, mainly used to edit anchor points, but also used to select things that are inside of groups. So if I wanted to just select that pink circle or just select this to modify it, I can use my direct selection tool. Otherwise, it's going to select everything because it's grouped. All right, now it wants me to ungroup it. So you're getting a little bit of practice here with the grouping and the ungrouping. And locking, select small square, click object, and then lock. So small square, object, lock, selection. So now that's not going to move. And then I keep deselecting things. Hold on. So object, lock, and then object, hide. Okay. Lock, selection, object. I must be reading this wrong. So look here, object, hide. All right. To get them back, just go back to object and then show all, object, unlock all. All right. And so that's all you're doing with that until you move down here to your little smart guides practice. And so what they're wanting you to do is just align these objects to look like this. So you'll select the circle. You see the little center word pops up. I can move it over here. And when I see center, that means those two things are centered. If I move my little small square and I want it to, I'm going to get closer in here. Hold on. Let me get rid of this real quick. See the little pink line that is now underneath both of those? That means that those are aligned. Okay. And there you go. Now you're going to save it and submit that. And we're back. All right. So does anyone have any questions about what we just did? Also, let's go ahead and do the poll again. Is there any reason why you cannot turn in this file right now to your course? So check means I can turn in the file. X means I'm not going to be able to turn in this file and I need help. Don't be cute, Chris. Don't be cute. All right. Isaac, are you going to be able to turn in your file? All right. Well, that is all I have for you today. Hopefully you feel comfortable enough to move on to the next assignment where you're going to be creating your own file and using the shape tool. So if you run into any issues or need some help, please, please, please do not hesitate to ask me. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day